D.
F. -10. Out of 10, -10.
He's not all there, and he's incompetent.
He's mumbling sentences and everything.
Yeah,
Most people do not see him.
You're being kind of ignorant, I think, actually.
Well, I'm not. I have nothing more to say to you, and I don't respect your intelligence.
What's going on, everyone? James Klug here. Today we're going to see how people think Joe Biden is doing as president. And to simplify things, we're going to be using a letter grade. Now, before we get started, I do have someone joining today's video. Lisa, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for having me. Brought Charlie with me.
Yeah, we got Charlie as well. Thanks for joining me. You ready to go?
I'm ready to talk to some people.
Okay, that's my line, but let's go talk to some people. Joe Biden, give him a letter grade. What grade are we giving him? F. Getting letter grades for Joe Biden. How do you think he's doing?
I'd say an F-.
Okay, that's pretty bad. How do you think he's doing? Incomplete. So that just the test wasn't even finished. Thumbs down. What letter grade are we giving Joe Biden?
Fail.
A fail?
Yeah.
That seems to be a trend so far today.
A -F. Like if there was like a Z, like Z.
A++. Okay, so we got the first A+. So why is that?
You don't want to say anymore.
You guys, if you give Joe Biden a letter grade, you can pet the dog. F. Oh, you want to pet the dog?
No, I'll give the F-.
-10. Out of 10, -10.
He's looking like my math grade right now. I saw a 28%.
How would you grade Joe Biden?
But with a 0.
A 0.
Yeah.
Inflation, everything's expensive.
Gas prices,
Giving
food
away
prices.
all the money, everything.
He's not all there, and he's incompetent.
Letter grade for Joe Biden. What are you at? A+.
A+ all the way.
Straight A's, man.
He's a lot better. Straight A's?
Well, he's getting old, so the plus is gone, but I'll give him an A.
Okay, we've only gotten a few of those today.
Really?
Yeah, why an A+?
He has done so much with so much Republican opposition. I find him to be such a beautiful and refreshing change, and just like a genuine, intelligent and caring human being, as opposed to the former guy who is his polar opposite. Yeah. So, I mean, I think, a tree stump would have been a better choice than the former guy, but Joe Biden is somebody that I respect and admire.
Can we ask you guys why that is?
I just think he's doing a great job.
What do you like, though? Like, specifically, would you say?
I think he's honest. I think he's sincere. I think he's trying to do a great job. And I don't see anyone else doing anything better.
We're getting...
He's a good man. He's smart. He's experienced. And he's got a lot done. He's done a lot for the environment, which we care about. He's a fabulous diplomat. He's courageous to go over to Ukraine like that. He's the best person for us right now.
Bungling all the foreign policies and...
So, like, on every single front. How about the border? How's he doing on that?
He sucks. Sorry. Is that okay to say? He sucks.
Yeah, it's funny. I grew up in the Democratic Party in Iowa on a farm. But the Democratic Party today is absolutely nothing like what it used to be. Yeah.
What's your number one issue that you would think that that bothers you the most about what Biden's doing?
Yeah, the border is a disaster. I mean, I feel so sorry for those people that live down there that are having people tramp through their property and destroy things, And, before, when Trump was there, we were going to get that border under control. And it was getting under control. I mean, if we're going to have a sovereign nation, why is the border open? You can't go any place in the world and go into these different countries. You can't stay there. They won't allow it.
How do you feel about the border?
I think the border's a challenge, but it's been a challenge for the past 200 years, hasn't it?
It has?
Yeah.
Last year, fiscal year, we set a record for the most illegal crossings at our southern border in the United States history.
Well, it's something we got to deal with, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we should deal with it as a unity, as a country, not as two separate tribes trying to kill each other, right?
We were actually discussing it on the way over here. At least it's not a bad person. He's a little bit old. I wish he was a little bit younger. I wish he was a little bit more steady on his legs, maybe. But at least he's not a bad person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
he's not a dishonest person. That's what he comes across as. Actually, some sort of dignity that the previous president is a joke. It's an international joke.
Do you think that both presidents are jokes and both presidents are lying, or no? Like, what happened to inflation being transitory?
Look, I would just say that there's all these problems that everyone has, but I think what my friend here is talking about is that he brings some integrity back to the office, some dignity back, and I think he's honest.
So I would go down, actually, I'm higher than most people today, but I'm probably like a D-. Not very pleased with it. She's even lower than me if you're looking at me like I'm crazy. I don't see by what measurement, politically speaking, he's been very great.
Are you a Trump supporter then?
I voted for Trump, yes.
Okay, well, I'm not. I have nothing more to say to you, and I don't respect your intelligence.
What?
Well, she doesn't know who Trump is, and she doesn't know the policies of Trump. When people don't know the policies and they just go by the personality of the candidate, they react that way. But that's why you're doing what you're doing, is trying to educate people.
All I think you want in a leader is honesty.
But he's been caught like lying multiple times about his. But I mean, about his history. He lied about his military stuff. I'm just asking you.
Talk to me about how bad Joe Biden is. I'm gonna walk.
No, I'm just asking you. Like he has been known to do that. That doesn't bother you at all?
I don't know if him ever lying about his military history. I know his son went to war. I don't know if any other son that went to war. So you can nitpick the guy to hell. My point and our point is that we think he's an honest guy, and he brings some integrity back to the Oval Office, and I think that's all we want.
Wait, do you mind if I ask you really quick? The Harvard Caps Harris poll recently came out. It's a big poll that came out about a week ago or so. From Harvard.
Oh yeah, my daughter works there.
Oh, awesome. Now they in their most recent poll, it showed that 63% of Americans
they don't approve.
Don't want him to run again in 2024, citing that he's a bad president as the primary reason. That's 63%. Why is that?
On the other side, I would say.
63%.
That's a lot of Republicans say that. You don't find Democrats saying he's not a bad president. He's fantastic. I know. I'm Canadian. I know a lot about the states.
63% of Americans would probably fall under a lot of Democrats as well.
Well, no, I think your language is all wrong. I think what you're saying, a bad president, can you quote me that? What are people saying?
They said
that's your words.
You obviously disagree with that. Why do you think 63% of Americans think that?
Because they're wrong.
They're wrong?
Yeah. They look, people have different opinions of everything, so we'll see in 2 years of the election, okay?
Would you vote for him again?
Sure.
You vote?
Sure.
Well, no. 63% said that he shouldn't run again, citing the number one reason was because people believe he is a bad president. That was the number one reason.
Was that the words you put out there for them to vote to?
I didn't do the poll.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so what's your question?
Well, I'm asking, why do you think that is?
I understand it. This country is so divided right now. It's pre-Civil War. There are two sides. I'm so sad for this country. I'm Canadian, but I live here. I own a home. I have a green card. But it's very sad right now because it's very divided.
Do you think Joe Biden has done a good job at mending the divide?
Well, he's done the best anybody could do. I think there are people on the other side that don't want to. You have to have two people cooperating. He's done his best. I can't think of anybody who could do a better job.
Biden referred to MAGA Republicans as a threat to the very foundations of the republic.
Well, I understand.
Do you think that was?
I understand.
Do you think that was helping to ease tensions, or do you think that was not a good thing?
It's just the truth. That's all.
It's just the truth.
It
so
is.
that they're trying to threaten the very foundations of the republic.
No, you're just trying to put words into my mouth.
Well, no, I'm quoting what Biden said. That's what he said.
Well, I heard
MAGA
you. I heard you say that. I know that. I've seen that.
Right.
No, I think it's true. It's true. And I think there
why
needs
is
to be,
it true?
Well, there needs to be come on. Hello. Where have you been for the last 6 years? So what I'm saying, that helped. The last 6 years of what was going on in Washington. There was already a divide because of all the things we haven't healed in the country, but the MAGA thing came along and it just made it worse. There's so much racism still. This country has never healed the divide between black people and white people, colored and white.
I would say largely it has. On what scale are you talking about?
Well, just read some history.
What were your thoughts on that response right there?
I think there's a lot of ignorance in America. So I'm originally from Nicaragua. I lived under 10 years of communism. And my family escaped from Nicaragua to here. And when you live under a regime like that, and you really understand, what's at stake, I think a lot of Americans don't understand what's happening because they're ignorant.
You know, the stuff you're bringing up is not American problems, it's international problems. Immigration is an international, it's not for America in particular. It's not something that's happening
You
here.
have 250,000 people coming across the border every single month. That becomes a United States problem.
Europe
You can
has a-
limit how many people come across. That's not happening in Europe.
It is.
To that extent? You guys have a
it's
250,000 people
what's-
every single month?
I don't know how many, but watch the news. It's people coming across the English Channel every day.
I don't think that anybody should just come across that wants to come across. But I thought the policy, I liked the policy a while back when at least you had to qualify and you had to actually, you know, they couldn't really live here for a while, but they had, I'm not sure how they had to qualify, but do you know how?
I mean, you had to be an actual refugee, a political asylee, or a religious like fleeing that. Now they're economic migrants, which don't really qualify under the asylum claims, right?
No, they don't.
And
under the
we're
asylum.
up to like 2.8 million that were encounters at the border this year alone. So it's
last year.
Last year, sorry, yeah. So it's
How many
increased
this year?
a lot so far. I mean, so we have basically like whole cities coming over every month, and we have to educate them, and they take up resources and jobs and things like that.
You
And
talk
so,
about them like they're aliens. They're people. For
I
God's
understand.
sakes.
I understand that they're
I
people.
mean, if you were in their condition, you'd want to do the same thing. You'd want to come here.
I think there's a difference between being compassionate for others and just allowing the whole world to come across our southern border every single month, basically. You know, like there's a lot of people that deserve a better chance, but it doesn't mean that they can come through illegally.
Right. I agree. I
Yeah,
agree.
and-
They need a legal way, and you gotta, you know.
But his rhetoric is like encouraging that, and because it's encouraging that, we're seeing like a humanitarian crisis at the border. I mean, there are kids, babies that are drowning.
Did a good job?
Well, I'm going to say the reason that I'm going to say yes is because his rhetoric disincentivized people from even trying. So there weren't groups of kids getting molested and raped down at the border. There weren't kids by the record rates drowning. There wasn't the cartels that were trafficking people there.
Well, I haven't heard
And
of
we
all
didn't
that.
we didn't have any terrorists. I mean, we had 40. I think it's like 47 that have
We
crossed
don't
last
need
year.
terrorists from the outside. We got enough inside here.
Well, you're making a good argument for closing down the border there, aren't you?
What about the divisive language that he used in his speeches regarding like MAGA Republicans and half the country that voted for Trump that didn't bother? Like, you don't think that there's a growing divide due to his divisive language, or you think it was already there?
This language has been here since the 1800s.
Okay.
You know, go back in history and read it. You know, like it's always been. It's a problem with the two-party system. It's us against them, right? But I think this has all really come to a head. But look at, you know, look. I'm a lot older than you guys are, right? Study politics. Go back to the 1960s.
Right. You can find the president calling half of Americans a threat to the very foundations of our republic.
As far as back as you go.
What other president would you say?
I can't name anybody like that.
All right, you guys, let's take a few seconds to talk about today's sponsor. And that sponsor is me. Please consider joining my locals community. We're trying to build it to be as big as possible. I will pin a link down below. It takes a few seconds to sign up. It's free with the option of contributing as little as $5 a month. Please consider doing that. We're trying to get about 20 monthly members right now, paid monthly members right now. If you want to be one of those people that helps support the channel financially so we can go out there, film more street videos, I would greatly appreciate it. A lot of my videos get demonetized or the topic just gets throttled by the YouTube algorithm. So if you'd like to help support combat that, please visit jamesklug.locals.com. Also, we now have exclusive content dropping weekly on Locals, so that's a benefit to join the community as well. We have a lot more benefits coming up, but that's just one of them. So behind the scenes, exclusive content, such as the post-filming wrap-up of this video that you're watching right now. jamesklug.locals.com. Let's get back into the video.
Letter grade?
Yeah.
Is F the lowest?
No,
D.
F.
D minus.
F is a grade. I would say from 1 out of 100, negative 100. And then from A through Z, I would say it doesn't exist. He has no business being a president.
What do you not like about Joe Biden then?
I don't like his policies. His policies are full of free agenda for people in this country, and the free agenda keeps people from working.
I mean, look at the border. I mean, it's so free. We have 2 million people who have just walked in who are now going to become potentially citizens of the United States swaying their own democratic vote. We have all of the problems that we've had with our economy, with our foreign affairs, with our border, with Chinese spy balloon. With the inflation, we have so many issues. It's beyond me that anyone would support this sham of presidency and not see what's happening and the future it's going to have, the impact it's going to have on our future, like our kids. Half of our country realizes that there's people today that are being put into office and elected in places not based on their achievements or their of their background, but based on their skin color or whether or not they fulfill a certain diversity quota. How has that thinking ever been upheld in our country?
He could have had potential in the beginning, but now he's just like,
Yeah, now he us. And
Yeah.
dude, he's way too old, man. He doesn't even know what he's talking about.
He's up there.
And he's going up on Air Force One like more than once now. Like they just got a new video of him tripping again. I was like, dude, come on. And he can't even remember what he's talking about, like when he's giving speeches and stuff.
Exactly.
He's an incredible diplomat. He's smart. I told you all the reasons.
Well, most people look at Joe Biden and you know he's mumbling sentences and everything.
Yeah, but,
most
you know,
people do
you're
not
being-
see him.
You're being kind of ignorant, I think, actually.
Why is that? I'm just
I don't
saying
know.
what I
You're
see.
You have to see beyond the picture. Are you judging people for the way they speak?
The world
way they
leader,
look?
if I think that he's not completely
Well,
all
if
there
that-
or
if
something,
that's
I have
all,
a.
then, you figure it out. I think you just need to do a little research, but you don't have to.
Well, this
It's
is
up
like
to you.
isn't this like the emperor's new clothes kind of thing, where like something's obviously wrong with how he speaks and his cognition
That's your
and
judgment. It's your judgment.
shows pretty clear signs of early signs of cognitive decline. Pretty serious
I have it
signs.
too. Hello, I'm talking
You're
to
way sharper than
No,
Joe
no,
Biden
no,
when it comes
no,
to talking.
I'm not. He's brilliant.
Age, failing.
Okay. How does he seem to be performing for his age, in your opinion?
Well, if we look at comparatives, Trump is about 3 or 4 years younger. He looks younger than his age. And Bernie Sanders is a little bit older. Biden's 79, I think.
80 now.
80, okay. And so I think Bernie can still get up the stairs okay. Biden's kind of a little shaky on the stairs. So I'm going to go with like C-.
Policy-wise, anything that you're enjoying aside? I mean, not to write off what you're saying. What you're saying is very important. The approach of a president and how they, are perceived is very important. Anything policy-wise that you like or dislike?
Well, he's maintaining the student loan pause on payments.
I personally will give him a B+. Primarily, the most important thing in my life is my student loans, and he's helping with that. So I would say he's working hard, but he could do better.
B+, that's a good grade. That's definitely more than passing. That's great. What else do you like about it? Or is it primarily just the student loans?
Is huge for me. I'm a public servant, so hopefully my loans are going to get forgiven soon. And it's a big deal, big burden. I think it's unfortunate since he's become president that we've had more conflicts in the world, like Ukraine and pulling out of Afghanistan and all these other things that have happened while he's been in office for such a short term.
Do you attribute any of that to his leadership style? Like an increase in all those things that you said, that more conflict that we didn't have?
Yeah.
So you think he is increasing the conflicts?
I think potentially, yes. I think I'm not a.
That's a big negative right there.
I agree. Look, I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but one thing I did appreciate about him was he wasn't trying to start wars and start conflict. He was more focused on, like a businessman, profit, and doing well for the economy and GDP.
I feel like under his leadership, though, that we've been drawn into more crisis and conflicts, like all around the world.
No, it's not. It's not true. What about Trump? I mean, what do you think about him? He took us there to the brink. Just the things, like the diplomacy when this person left was terrible in the world. Now we are on the world stage again as Americans. I mean, you guys
But
are
our
American.
enemies are emboldened. I mean, we have China emboldened. We have Putin emboldened. Like they were too afraid to. Afraid to encroach on, say, Taiwan or Ukraine under Trump's leadership because they thought that he was unpredictable. But now you have somebody that seems soft and weak.
He's not
on the world stage,
he's not,
and
no, he's not
it's
seen that way at
emboldening
all.
our enemies.
No, he's not seen that way at all.
Why is everyone encroaching?
Who's everyone? See, I think you need
China, Russia.
China and Taiwan.
China's bad. I'll tell you right now, Russia's bad. Not the people, but the government.
Right.
And Iran is misbehaving as well. So
But
no.
he re-entered
But
into the
listen,
Iran nuclear deal.
No. Yes, he did. Because then that's good. He's trying because then they'll stop doing.
Why is it good?
Because they'll stop making nuclear. I can't even say it. Nuclear.
If you give the world leaders and sponsoring global terrorism a bunch of cash, they'll stop.
No. Okay, you guys, you got your own ideas.
I think a lot of Americans, we're having a lot of trouble finding good grades for Joe Biden because I think a lot of people are seeing him, including myself, as being weak, old, barely sentient when you hear him speak.
Look, the guy's old, and he fumbles, and he falls over, and he stutters his words.
Well, Bernie Sanders is old too, and he sounds like 10 times better.
Right, he's more cognitively there. But to me, it's not really who the president is, it's really the administration, and I think the administration is doing he's just an icon. He's a leader that's there, like the symbol.
A figurehead.
Yeah, a figurehead. But I think it's his administration making a lot of the decisions. Like I said, personally to me, what's most important right now in my life, and I'm very selfish about it, is student loans.
That's okay. You can be. That's an okay response.
And to me, it's a great burden that he is helping with, or his administration is. So to me, it's very important.
So you're finding some relief there, but how do you feel about the rising cost of food, household items, and inflation? Is that affecting you negatively? Does it balance out?
I invested in the stock and crypto, and everything's down, but I have $300,000 in student loans that could get wiped. That to me is huge, and it's been huge.
He did mention, one of his campaign promises was wiping out student loan debt. How do you think? I mean, has that been a negative effect for you, or do you not mind that he didn't deliver on that?
I knew he wasn't going to deliver on that. It was just too hard of a thing to do, just wipe student loan out of nowhere.
Is that necessarily a good thing?
What do you mean?
Wiping out student loan debt?
I don't know. I don't think so. Given the fact that I think it's unfair to some degree because some people have already paid it and some are still paying. Someone like me is in a different position. I'm a public servant and I've gone to school with a lot of loans and I'm giving back in that way. I don't think student loans should just be wiped out from nowhere, but I think it should be easier to work to get there. To be honest, I was never a big fan of him. Both him and Donald Trump, I was turned off by the whole thing. It's just like these old people that are super controversial, super divisive. But I did promise myself if he was going to get rid of my student or help get rid of it, that I would be indebted for him, to him.
You have a photo of him in your living room.
No.
All right, everyone, that is it for today. So we started out in Huntington Beach, which is usually 50-50 on the political spectrum. Today, we got about 99 to 100% of people saying that Joe Biden is doing a bad job. So we decided to come here, Laguna Beach, which is far more liberal, and we still struggle to find people that agreed with what Joe Biden was doing as president of the United States. Lisa, what do you think? Any takeaways from today?
I mean, it gives me a little hope for the country. So many people were anti-Biden, but I was really shocked, especially being here in California, that there were so many people that were just giving him straight up Fs. It was all day.
Yeah, this might be one of the most difficult videos we've tried to film, just trying to get different perspectives. Pretty much everyone said F, but I will include the conversations in which people thought Joe Biden is doing a great job. You guys, if you enjoyed this video and you enjoyed these conversations, definitely make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that bell notification button so you're notified. Next time I post, wait, Lisa, where can people find you?
Oh, Lisa Elizabeth on Twitter.
We'll catch you guys next time.